All right, chances are you've probably heard about peptides by now, unless you live under a rock or something. They're everywhere. Longevity clinics, biohacking podcasts, group chats with your health-obsessed friends. But here's what no one's talking about, where the peptides actually come from. When you inject something from a research-only website, do you really know what's in that vial? It can be a crapshoot. So today I'm at A4M's Longevity Fest with Chris Shade, the master formulator behind Quicksilver Scientific. And he figured out how to deliver peptides without a needle. Yes, sublingually. And his argument is that this may be even more efficient than using an injection. We break down the Wolverine stack, why your supplements might not be working even when they're in your blood, and how the right peptides can reset your immune system, rebuild your gut, and turn back the clock on your genes. If you've been curious about peptides but didn't know where to start, this one's gonna open your eyes.
Okay, so here we are. We're at the Quicksilver booth today, and I'm so excited to be here because we know all the rage with peptides right now. And the master formulator, Chris Shade, the owner and developer of Quicksilver, is here with us. And he has something really exciting to share with you about an update in peptides where we don't have to inject ourselves with needles anymore. So tell me the exciting news.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I've been looking to make liposomal peptides for a long time. Everybody, you got to get up and inject, this one, that one, that one. And you also don't know really where all these peptides are coming from. You buy them off these for research-only sites, is this GMP production? And I'm like, we got to get it in a liposome. And we know that liposomes can get through the GI barrier, through the oral barrier, and go right into the blood. And so we knew these would work well, but we didn't know how well they work. They really kind of blew us away. And, I wasn't really thinking about it. All this is cell signaling. You got to go in and signal inside the cells. And a liposome, it's a bilayer fat membrane made out of phosphatidylcholine, same thing that your cell membranes are made out of. You make it small enough, it goes right through the oral cavity, right into the blood. But then when it sees a cell, there's something called cell fusion, where the phospholipids blend with the cell phospholipids, and the compounds in there are more easily penetrated into the cell. So you get better oral delivery into the blood, but then you get better delivery into the cell. So the signaling capacity of these has been beyond even my expectations.
Okay, so you've passed two barriers to entry. Some people do not want to put a needle into their body. So now all they have to do is put a liposomal in their mouth, and it's going to get into the bloodstream. But beyond that, what makes these much more exciting, what I'm hearing, is that they can enter the cell easier because of the fat that they're encapsulated in.
Yeah.
The phosphatidylcholine.
Yeah, it's the same thing the membranes are made of. And, it's known that there's membrane fusion, that these go right into the cell membrane. And then, boom, you get your intracellular delivery along with it.
Oh, my God.
Then, like I said, now it's CGMP. Everything's tested, coming in, going out. I hear all these stories of these doctors using these peptides, and one batch is good, one batch isn't. And then they're worried about their licensing.
Sometimes it doesn't. So yours, across the board, we're going to get the same delivery system. We're going to get the same results.
Yeah, I mean, we have the amount of the peptides coming in, and in the final product is measured. It's the same all the time. The size of the liposomes is the same all the time. That can vary based on your supplies of the phospholipids that you're using. And we have that all super controlled. And so now you have something that works every time, and it's just been phenomenal.
Can we go try some?
Yes.
Wait,
Let's walk over and try
before
some.
you do that, because of your audiences maybe aren't all practitioners and so on, I think Chris should say something about, hey, this is an explosion of this thing called peptides.
Yeah, what are they?
It came out of nowhere. Why is it so
That's
significant?
a great point.
Yeah.
Great point, Robert. Yeah.
So peptides are the newest thing in longevity medicine and reparative medicine, functional medicine, because they're cell signalers that shift your body's functioning in a way that none of our supplements could do this dramatically. And one of the things about this line, you have things like BPC 157. People know that because it helps you repair from damage, helps your GI. KPV stops inflammatory cycles. TB500 repairs too. But all of them shut down something that builds with time. there's something called immunosenescence, where the immune system starts going to sleep in its ability to inflame and kill, then shut off inflammation. So it tends to, instead of being able to kill things when it needs to, it starts just winding up inflammation all over the place.
Oh, wow.
And then
That's a
things like
problem.
endotoxin from, this is parts of your gut from leaky GI getting in, they propagate inflammation. And this inflammation just keeps going, and it's shutting down a lot of the longevity mechanisms. It's shutting down NRF2 and AMPK, sirtuins. These are all things that keep you young and refreshed. And if you're able to control that inflammation, the other thing it does, this inflammation is shutting down things like growth hormone receptors.
And apoptosis.
And it shuts down apoptosis too. So and apoptosis is killing off old cells that are propagating inflammation. So you're killing off the old cells. You're stopping the cycles of inflammation. The growth hormone receptors and your sex hormone receptors come back online, because you can have the same growth hormone, but if your receptors go down, you're not getting growth hormone signaling.
Yeah.
It's repairing all that. I mean, people are taking all these growth hormone.
Step back a minute. What's repairing all that?
Growth hormone, the peptides are turning down the inflammation, and that's resetting the signaling from growth hormone so you can rebuild the system.
So what I'm hearing is peptides are helping you rebuild your system. There's so many benefits to them, but one of the problems is that a lot of them can be contaminated. We don't know the sourcing. We don't know where they're coming from. You're paying money. It's from a research company, and you really are injecting yourself with something that
you don't know.
It's a crapshoot,
right?
Right?
And some of these are good. Other guys are just slinging peptides. Any source they can get, just throw it all in there, throw it out there. Are they using sterile rooms to do these injectables? I mean, you don't know where it's coming from, and it's injectable.
Yeah.
It's like that's a
scary.
bad thing. But we have to work under CGMP rules, and so everything has to be tested coming in for both the contaminants and the purity. And then we have to test again the outgoing product. So it's like, this is the transparency and reliability that you need in these. And then the delivery system just upped the game in a way we didn't even expect.
Oh my gosh, I know. Well, that was what I was thinking. I was like, if you're having phosphatidylcholine as one of your delivery systems, then this is going to help it enter the cell better. So now you can utilize it. And it's not just in your blood serum, but it's actually something that you can utilize. And you're talking about cell signaling, which is huge. And I think a lot of people don't think about that, because you can be taking supplements, you can be drinking, spending money on whatever these things are, but if you don't have the proper cell signaling, then it's not going to get into the cell, and it's useless. It's basically expensive products that you're buying.
And cell signaling, cell to cell, is dependent on healthy membranes, and that phosphatidylcholine that brought the peptide in becomes part of the membrane and heals the membrane as a secondary benefit. Like with the liposomes, if you even took every active out of them, they'd still be really good for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You were one of the first people that got me turned on to phosphatidylcholine and got me excited about phase angle, because obviously hydration is my game, and we can't be properly hydrated if the phase angle of our cell, that lipid barrier of our cell, is not healthy. And a lot of people have compromised lipid barriers, and that's why they're trying so hard, spending so much money on all these supplements, and it's not working for them.
Yeah, and phosphatidylcholine is the best way to rebuild membranes. In fact, I have this great funny story where I was out at a retreat with Robert and Joe Mercola and Ben Greenfield, Bob Miller, Emily Givler, and Joe had just brought a phase angle measure, and he gets so excited about stuff. He's like, everybody's gonna measure phase angle. And so he thinks he's gonna beat everybody. He's worried maybe Ben will beat him. So they measure, and they're like in the 6s, low 7s. And they're like, all right, where's Shade? Of course I'm late, because I'm always running around late doing things. I pop in there, and Emily says to them, Shade's going to beat you. They're like, why? Phosphatidylcholine. Nobody eats more phosphatidylcholine than him. And I popped on the couch, 8.3.
Yes, high five.
Smoked
I love it.
Yep.
We all know that an essential piece of staying hydrated is electrolytes.
Electrolytes, what are those? Those are basically minerals in a liquid solution. And not all electrolytes are made the same. We want one that has all the building blocks for life so that we can build healthy new cells. And the way we do that is having all of our minerals and trace elements balanced and complete. And that's why I love Quinton minerals. Not only do you get all 78 trace elements that your body needs, but Quinton is cold processed and harvested during the plankton bloom on the ocean's floor, where there's so much bioenergetic information that pertains to life. And they capture that information in this double tip ampule. So all you do is open the ampule, put it in your favorite drink, in your water, or you can even put it under your tongue. One of my favorite things to do when I prep for the gym is to get my blood moving. And the way that I do that is by reducing inflammation and adding some nitric oxide to my blood. I love HydroShot. Not only does it taste delicious, but it has hydrogen gas infused into the can, as well as natural occurring nitric oxide from watermelon rind with green tea, and it's 0 calories. All right, guys, check out this stack. Some of you may be taking BPC 157, BPC with KPV, copper peptide for your skin, hair, and nails, BPC, oh, I love this, the TB 500.
TB 500,
okay,
yeah.
Wait, so
we can do the Wolverine stack.
Let's talk about this, because you can't mix peptides together inside of a vial. I know a lot of companies, they're starting to do that, but they can oxidize, right?
No, not necessarily. As long as they're compatible, they can go together.
Okay. So you think that the BPC and the TB 500 can go together?
Oh, absolutely. We do that all the time in injectable, but we're doing it in oral. And one of the common, Ben Greenfield named it the Wolverine stack, was BPC, TB 500, and copper GHK.
Okay.
So we're going to do
the Wolverine stack that you guys are going to make. I love this. Okay.
Well, we're going to make a Wolverine stack right here with the BPC with TB and the copper. We're going to mix those together.
Let's pump them together. Make our own little shot glass here.
There we go.
All right, so this is the copper, the BPC 157, and TB 500.
Yep, all together.
Cheers.
Wolverine. Now with these, you hold them in your mouth, your whole oral cavity absorbed, probably the most under the tongue, and you're going to hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. When we do this, we steep the stuff in the blood in as little as 2 minutes.
Really?
Transbuccal or transmucosal delivery right into the capillaries under the blood. And anything you swallow, pretty much everywhere it touches, it's going to be absorbing in your stomach, your upper GI. And with all of these compounds that we've measured in the blood, they all peak in the blood in 20 or 30 minutes.
Really?
And so you get everything in, do all your signaling, and let it go away.
How often should you be taking this? Like, how many hours apart should you space it?
Well, it depends what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Now, it could be once a day, twice a day. If I'm doing BPC 157 with KPV, that's usually trying to fix somebody's GI issue and inflammatory issues. You can do one pump 4 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah, and that really gets everything under control. The half-life of these things is really fast. KPV is gone in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we can do it a couple times a day, we reset that cell signaling.
Okay.
If it's just regrowth and regeneration, once or twice a day.
So tell me a little bit more about KPV, because I know a lot of people deal with gut issues, and a lot of people have distended stomachs, they have gas, they have bloating, there's so many things going on with SIBO and with Candida.
So with leaky gut, there's inflammation, chronic inflammation in the gut that's leading to breakdown at the tight junctions. And that opens up these holes that all this stuff passes into the blood through. And so we know BPC 157 helps us repair and rebuild those tight junctions. But if we have the inflammatory cycles going, you're kind of fix, break, fix, break, fix, break. The KPV goes in there into the site of inflammation and blocks the propagation of the inflammation. So that stops the inflammation, so the BPC is rebuilding, and it stays like that.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what we need. Okay, so that's a powerhouse for a lot of people. I'm gonna get that to my daughter. My daughter Grace has an autoimmune condition.
Oh, the KPV
so that'd be huge,
autoimmune
right?
huge. Oh, we use it in all those. And all these people with mold, Lyme, SIBO, the autoimmune, blocking that propagation of inflammation and rebuilding properly. And one of the other things they do, they reset some of the genome. The methylation of the genes has been, you start setting to a pro-inflammatory state. You're like making that your operating system. And these things reset it back to a young, non-inflammatory state.
Oh my gosh. Wow, this is liquid gold.
Oh yeah, they're
I
just
love it.
fantastic.
Okay, so tell me about Epithalon. You said this is brand new.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what this does.
So Epithalon, and maybe we'll get the Thymulin with it too if we have it here. Well, there we go. This is Thymulin, zinc complex, and Epithalon. Kavinson, a professor over at the Russian Institute of Gerontology, had first isolated these from organs. So these are essentially glandular extracts. Thymulin is a thymus extract. It's a peptide from thymus, and Epithalon is a peptide from the pineal. So Thymulin rebuilds the thymus. As you get older, your thymus stops functioning right.
Yeah.
It's called thymic involution.
Turns into fat.
Immunosenescence,
Yeah.
yes, it turns into fat. You're not making new T cells. This is why the
we
T cells
age.
are supposed to kill cells.
It's a huge part of
because
aging that people
instead
don't think
of making stuff, thymic cells, T cells that go and kill and then stop, you're making ones that don't kill the viruses, but they generate inflammation that's burning you up.
Yeah.
So the Thymulin's reversing that. The Epithalon also works on that, but it lengthens the telomeres.
Okay.
These are the end caps
Oh
of the
my gosh.
chromosomes that shrink as you get older. And as they shrink, you lose the integrity of the genome and you stop expressing all your young genes and you just express survival genes. So Kavinson took a few hundred people and had them on Epithalon and Thymulin for a couple of years and tracked them. And I forget, there was like a 40% drop in cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative problems went down, but these people lived longer. I mean, all-cause mortality was way down. They took old people, sent them on 2 different tracks, with or without them. They also did them independently. Both worked well independently. Together, they worked amazing. It was the quintessential anti-aging.
Okay, so this stack right here, the Thymulin zinc complex
And
and
the
the
Epithalon.
Epithalon is the quintessential,
Boom.
like,
In-
slowing aging process down, maybe even
Reversing it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you're lengthening your telomeres,
You're
we're
reversing
reversing aging.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm taking these home.
Yes.
Bye.
Absolutely.
All right, what else? What else are we?
How about a little bit of beauty?
Oh, let's talk about beauty. Everyone wants to know about that. And
Everybody
you know what,
wants
Chris? You know what I've learned is that we always think about beauty and we think about women, but men are just as excited about the beauty or
Every
looking good
day.
aspect,
Totally.
right? But they don't want to talk about it.
They don't, no. It's like they come over, I just slip it to them under the table. Don't tell anyone you're putting copper nano serum on.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
this is
our
the cowboy copper nano serum.
yes, cowboy copper nano serum. Don't tell anyone. And this is copper GHK in a nano serum that get across the stratum corneum right into the base of the skin to start repairing. Copper repairs the extracellular matrix. That means it repairs fibroblasts, the things that are making your collagen and your elastin. It'll take senescent cells, move them out. It'll wake up stem cells and get regrowth going in the skin. And we have 2 versions. One has some estrogens in it because when women get old and estrogen goes down, that leads to skin thinning.
Yeah.
And then we have the one without estrogens. And what we put in it was cycloestragonol and THC. That's tetrahydrocurcumin,
Okay.
which is a white curcumin.
Okay.
And so that has a anti-inflammatory effect, the tetrahydrocurcumin. And the cycloestragonol, we used to think it lengthened telomeres, but it's actually a senolytic. So it's breaking down and removing the old dead fibroblasts that are not making your collagen. So
Really?
you're removing senescent fibroblasts and stimulating growth of new ones.
This is a new term I've never heard of, senescent fibroblasts. So
Well,
we need to be
senescent cells.
eliminating the dead fibroblasts and so that we can regenerate new
Totally,
ones.
like at the base of wrinkles are dead
Wow.
fibroblasts.
So I would assume, just like what you're saying, that things like filler and Botox would be slowing that process down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I imagine Botox, tighten you up, but it's a botulism toxin.
Yeah, and
There's
you're
no
not
way
getting the lymph blood flow to
Exactly.
nourish, and I mean, obviously you're getting it, but it's slowing that process
Yeah,
down.
and if you do this, you won't have to do so much of that stuff, and it'll repair a lot of the damage to the cellular space that you cause through.
Oh my gosh. All right, so this is for men and women, you guys,
Totally.
not just men. All right. Anything else that you want to show? So these are the copper peptides that you guys have here at the show that you can put
Yeah,
on
and
your skin.
our joke here is it looks like it's an injectable, but it's not. And we do them oral this way, but there is a 2-pump dose. And since I don't have any makeup on, we'll apply it.
Oh yeah, let's see the glow. Let's see the glow, Chris. I'm sure you could put it in your hair too to help with hair growth.
Oh, yeah. Copper. So the copper GHK, and we have one coming out for the hair that has copper GHK, copper AHK, and biotinyl GHK. And
What's the difference between GHK and GHKCU?
GHK is the peptide, and then it's complex to copper. But they also have AHK, which is a different peptide complex to copper, and biotinyl GHK. So biotin, your hair growth thing. So the AHK and the GHK help block formation of dihydrotestosterone just locally, and that's what's causing us to lose our hair. I started a little bit late.
Yeah.
If I had started 15 years ago, I might have been able to stop that. But even since I've been doing this, like there's the sort of copper
Your
color.
hair looks thicker to me.
Yeah, it's thicker, it's not as wispy, and some of the copper red color that I used to have has started to come back.
Wow, so you're saying that could help even with gray hair?
Totally.
Okay, I'm putting this in my hair.
Yeah, so
prevent gray
this you
hairs.
could just put right up into it, but we're going to make a spray just for hair, and then you can spray it right into the thinning
Wow, I love this. All right, well, thank you for sharing with us about peptides. Any questions I didn't ask or anything you'd like to share with the
areas.
audience?
No, you really hit it.
All right.
You're awesome.
So good to see you.